Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. In this video, I will be going over the new 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray pre-orders for March 26, 2022. Now keep in mind, release dates and technical specs are subject to change. If there are any changes or additional retailer exclusives, I will update them in a future video and the channel's community page. On April 19th will be The Cabin in the Woods as a Best Buy exclusive 4K Steelbook edition. This is the same release that came out as a slipcover a number of years ago, and it will contain HDR and Dolby Vision, as well as a Dolby Atmos audio mix. So for you Steelbook collectors, this one will be available to pick up at Best Buy on April 19th. On April 26th, Lionsgate will release the sci-fi film Moonfall, which will be getting a standard edition available at all your local and online retailers. We're expecting HDR and Dolby Vision for the grading, as well as a Dolby Atmos audio mix. So for you sci-fi disaster movie collectors, this one will be in stores in late April. Best Buy will also have an exclusive 4K Steelbook edition of Moonfall available at that retailer. It is currently up for pre-order, so check it out if you're a fan of the film and want it in Steelbook form. Also available on April 26th is the wide release of Scanner Cop, which is currently available for pre-order over on Amazon. It was once a Vinegar Syndrome exclusive, and it will now be getting a wide release. It will contain HDR for the grading. And of course, available the same day is the sequel, Scanner Cop 2, same with the HDR grading here. So both of these movies are currently up for pre-order and available on April 26th. May 10th will be a heavy release day as far as Universal catalog titles go. First up, the Alfred Hitchcock Collection Volume 2 will be getting a 4K Ultra HD release. It will contain 5 films from the director's catalog, including Saboteur, Marnie, The Trouble with Harry, Shadow of a Doubt, and Family Plot. We're expecting HDR for the grading, and as far as audio goes, probably mono tracks and 5.1s across the board. If the collection isn't your thing and you prefer individual titles, well, good news, all 5 of the Hitchcock titles in that set will be getting individual releases. Same grading, same audio mixes, and these will be available online and are currently up for pre-order. Speaking of individual releases, the Jurassic Park films are finally coming out as single 4K Ultra HD titles. We are expecting Jurassic Park, The Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World, and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. The gradings and the audio mixes will remain the same as part of the collections released a few years ago, so HDR and DTS:X are going to be on the menu. Now, out of all these films, only Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom came out as a single title, so for the rest of the movies, you don't want the collection, you can now pick and choose which ones to put on your shelf, and these will be available on May 10th. On May 17th, Lionsgate will be releasing a Best Buy exclusive 4K Steelbook edition of Hell or High Water, and it will contain the same specs as the individual released a couple years ago. It will have Dolby Vision and HDR for the grading and a DTS 5.1. So Steelbook collectors, pick this one up on May 17th. On May 24th, 2 titles that were part of the Jack Ryan collection on 4K will be getting individual releases. First up, the Harrison Ford starring film Patriot Games will be coming out. It will contain HDR and Dolby Vision for the rating and a DTS 5.1 audio mix. The same day, we'll also see the release of The Sum of All Fears starring Ben Affleck. HDR and Dolby Vision for the grading as well as the DTS 5.1. Both of these titles are currently up for pre-order over on Amazon and other online retailers. On May 31st, Kino Lorber will be releasing the next 2 films in the Man with No Name trilogy on 4K Ultra HD. First up, A Fistful of Dollars will be coming out. Unfortunately, no HDR grading, just like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which was released last year, but I do feel that the transfer was well worth the price of admission, and I'm hoping the same can be said here. It will have a DTS 5.1 audio mix, so check this one out if you're a fan of the film. Of course, the same day will also see the release of For a Few Dollars More on 4K Ultra HD from Kino Lorber. The same specs as the previous film, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly can be found here. I'm excited to check this one out on 4K. Let me know in the comments if you plan on doing the same and picking this one up on May 31st. May 31st will also see the release of The Untouchables on 4K Ultra HD. It will be getting HDR and Dolby Vision for the grading and a newly upgraded Dolby Atmos mix. I am very excited. They seem to be giving this one a lot of love on 4K, and check it out. It is currently up for pre-order. The Untouchables will also be receiving a non-exclusive 4K Steelbook edition of the film. I will be picking this one up for myself. It is currently up for pre-order over at Amazon, but other online retailers are also there for your convenience. Over on the Vinegar Syndrome website will be an exclusive edition of Cloak and Dagger that is getting released on May 31st. I was honestly shocked to see this get a 4K release. I am a big fan of the film. It's one of those that I watched constantly in my childhood, so it'll be very exciting to get this one on 4K Ultra HD. Let me know if you've seen the movie, and if you plan on picking it up, you can get it over on the Vinegar Syndrome website. Vinegar Syndrome will also be releasing Miami Connection on 4K Ultra HD on May 31st. It will have HDR for the grading and a stereo track for the audio mix. I don't remember ever seeing this one, but it is currently up for pre-order over at Vinegar Syndrome. On June 14th, we'll see the individual release of Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark on 4K. This is a non-exclusive Steelbook edition of the film and will contain the same specs as the previous release last year, which contains HDR, Dolby Vision, and a Dolby Atmos audio mix. I expect the other Indiana Jones films to get individual releases shortly, so they're starting with this one. Let me know if you plan on picking it up. On June 21st, the Criterion Collection will be releasing Shaft on 4K Ultra HD. It will have HDR and Dolby Vision for the grading. It has been a number of years since I've seen this one, so I can't wait to revisit it on 4K from the Criterion Collection. And finally this week, Arrow Video will be releasing True Romance on 4K Ultra HD. This was available internationally a few months ago, but now the US is getting its own release, and it's coming out on June 28th. It will have the exact same specs as the previous version, which had HDR and Dolby Vision and a DTS 5.1 audio mix. There also looks to be 2 editions of the film. This one is going to be the Steelbook version and should be available at online retailers everywhere. There will be a limited edition of True Romance also coming out on June 28th. So if you want the Steelbook version or the limited edition with the extra swag, both should be up for pre-order shortly. So those are all the new 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray pre-orders for March 26, 2022. If you're interested in picking up any of these titles for yourself, I will leave an Amazon link in the comments section below. If you use it, it really helps out the channel, but also stay tuned to my channel's community page for up-to-date information and pre-order links on upcoming 4K discs. And also, finally, thank you to all my Patreons for your continued support. It is greatly appreciated. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.